Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Jeff at lockdownsecurity.ca, and today I'm making a video regarding the differences between 410 EVO-START LTE and MYCAR2. Now, these are two telematics units that you can use for your remote start systems to be able to remote start your vehicle from your phone using an app, otherwise known as smartphone control. And the reason why I'm making a video for the differences between EVO-START LTE and MyCAR2 is that these are by far the two most popular smartphone control systems for most of the remote starters that we sell. Now, in this video, I'm just going to reach down here. I am not discussing Drone Mobile today. And the reason I'm not discussing Drone Mobile is that Drone Mobile only works with CompuStar systems. So it's limited to that single brand. So this deserves a video on its own, specifically for those users who use CompuStar remote starters. MyCAR2 is device agnostic, so it'll work with pretty much any brand of remote start that it's compatible with, whereas EVO-START LTE is designed to work solely with 410. Now, MyCAR2 is a competitor to EVO-START LTE and also works with 410, so that's why I'm making this comparison video, because if you purchase a 410 remote starter, which many do-it-yourself users do, you may want to add smartphone control, and these are going to be the two systems that you're going to compare against, EVO-START LTE and MyCAR2. Now, I have to make a couple of disclaimers and a couple of clarifications that as of December 17th, 2023, the info that I disclose in this video is correct as of today's date. Things can and will change in the future, so depending on when you're watching this video, what I'm discussing and the features of these apps are definitely subject to change, as well as the coverage of where these apps work. So with that being said, I want to get into the first thing with regards to clarification, and that is 410 EVO-START LTE. Now, 410 advertises this product with mobile network coverage in the US and Canada, and full disclosure, that is correct. The device will work in Canada or the USA, but currently it does not work in Canada and the USA. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is that if you're a Canadian user and you purchase an EVO-START LTE here in Canada, which is where I'm based, your system will work in Canada only. If you're a US user and you purchase an EVO-START LTE in the United States, your system will work in the United States. Meaning, if you activate an EVO-START LTE in Canada and you purchase a Canadian piece of hardware, it will only work in Canada. Once it crosses the border, currently as of today's date, it will not work. Same thing goes for the US version. If you buy the US version of EVO-START LTE and then you cross the Canadian border, your system will not work. Well, what does that mean by will not work? It means that the activation of your app and the control over your vehicle will no longer work when you cross the border, as well as your GPS tracking. So what that means is that if you are tracking a vehicle and you're a Canadian user and you have a Canadian piece of hardware, once it crosses the border, your tracking will no longer work. It is a little bit misleading on the EVO-START LTE website, because it does say mobile network coverage in the US and Canada, but it should say mobile network coverage in the US or Canada, depending on where you buy it. Now, they have updated their website. If you look at plans, I'm just going to double check here. So you will see they added the fine print, which is kind of tough for you to see, but it reads, this product must be sold, installed, and supported by a professional. Mobile network coverage for the EVO-START LTE product purchased in Canada is only available in Canada. Mobile network coverage for EVO-START LTE product purchased in the United States is only available in the United States. So it's basically mobile network coverage in US or Canada, depending where you buy it. Again, not super clear on the EVO-START LTE website, but that's what this video is for, is to kind of make things clear for our customers and for the users of this product. So with that being said, let me move on to MyCAR2. So MyCAR2 is a device that you can purchase in Canada for use in Canada and the United States. What that means is that if you're a Canadian user and you purchase MyCAR2, your system will work in both Canada and the United States. With that being said, US users currently cannot purchase the Canadian hardware because you cannot activate it in the United States as of yet. That will change in the upcoming future, probably sometime in 2024. But If you were a US-based user and you were to purchase a MyCAR2, say for example from us at Lockdown or any other retailer online, please be advised that unless you activate the system in Canada, you will not be able to download the app currently as of December 17, 2023. So that's a little bit of clarity. It's a little bit different than the EVO-START LTE in that the Canadian users that purchase it, you can use it in both Canada and the United States, not either or, but both. That applies to GPS tracking as well as the smartphone control of your vehicle. So both of these devices will work on 410 EVO-1, 410 EVO-All. Both of these, the MyCAR2 hardware will also work on CompuStar. It'll work on iDataStart. It'll work on Omega. There's a number of different brands of systems that the MyCAR2 hardware will work, whereas the EVO-START 2 or EVO-START LTE, my apologies, EVO-START LTE hardware only works with the EVO-1 and the EVO-All from 410. Also, for worldwide watchers of this video, neither of these products will work for you worldwide. That may change with the MyCAR2 hardware, but currently these devices are designed to be sold in North America, in Canada, or the United States. So which one do we recommend? Well, both of them have their benefits and drawbacks. As I kind of mentioned, there's a little bit of confusion on network coverage and app coverage and all of that. But let's base this on you being a Canadian customer. Which one should you buy? Well, it really comes down to the hardware that you're using, whether it's 410 or another brand. It also comes down to your brand preference as well as what you think of the app. So I'm just going to expand myself on the video here, and I'm going to open up my smartphone. And I'm going to show you first the EVO-START LTE. Now, unfortunately, the EVO-START LTE app is a white background. So I tried to do a screencast video so that I screencast the actual phone, but I had some technical difficulties today, so it didn't work. So this kind of gives you an idea of what the app looks like on an Android phone. This is a Pixel 7 XL. So you can see it's a white on white background. You've got a top-down view of the vehicle. I currently do not have an EVO-START EVO-START LTE hardware hooked up, so I've got no signal, I've got no actual coverage. But if I basically take my phone and I start hitting buttons, let me just try and get a better camera angle here. Yeah, it's very difficult to get it. So basically, you can see when I hit the push start button, it makes an audible noise. Obviously, due to the way that the app is and my camera here, it really doesn't show up very well on video. I'll try and get it. There we go. It's kind of coming into view. You can see basically lock and unlock down at the bottom, engine start stop. Basically, let me pull the website back up here to kind of give you an idea. So obviously what I was showing you in the video was an actual real live version of the EVO-START LTE app. Let me show you here the actual hardware. So this is an actual EVO-START LTE device. I can't show you the other side because there's an actual serial number, but this is essentially what an EVO-START LTE piece of hardware looks like. It's very slim. It comes with a wire harness here that you can plug into the data port of your 410 EVO-1 or your 410 EVO-All. It also has the harness to allow you to plug in a key fob kit to it as well if you were using a 410 key fob kit. And this is the box, very generic, white box that it comes in. Let me show you the MyCAR2 app. So let me go back over here. So basically MyCAR2, this is the older version of the app. The new version of the app is pretty cool. So essentially, if I make myself bigger on camera, here it is. Again, the camera doesn't really do a good job of picking up the phone with the glare and such, but you can see essentially I've got a car picture up at the top. You've got an instrument cluster. This is a gauge cluster. If I had GPS signal to my activated MyCar unit, it's currently indoors right now in the install bay, you'd see a map in that instrument cluster. You've got lock, you've got unlock, start, stop. If I push the button here, see you've got an audible. You may have heard that. I have a MyCAR2 hardware actually on my test bench hooked up. It's powered up, so that's why this is communicating. And then if I do this, you have these configurable buttons for things like auxiliary outputs and that type of thing. So essentially, the MyCAR2 app, the difference is it's a black on black background. Might be a little bit easier to read at night, not as bright as the EVO-START LTE, which you can see does not show up very well in the camera and has quite a bit of brightness to it. Tough to say which one I prefer. I'm kind of more partial to this one. I really like the gauge cluster design. I really like the way that this system works, but that's not to say that I don't promote EVO-START LTE. We sell a ton of them, and that's what's going to bring me into the next point of the video, which is the service fees and the subscription fees. So let's start with EVO-START LTE and the plans that it comes with. So here we go. So essentially, we're talking about EVO-START LTE, not EVO-START 2. For those of you who are interested, EVO-START 2 is no longer available. It only worked in Quebec and Ontario, Canada, whereas EVO-START LTE, as I mentioned, is US or Canada. If I scroll down here, you're going to see what's included in the purchase price. The purchase price of the EVO-START LTE, you get 3 years of service. So it's basically 36 months of service at no charge. It's included with the hardware cost. Every year thereafter is going to cost you $49.95. And then if you wanted to, when the 3 years is up, renew it for a full 3 year, you could do $129.95. Excuse me. Now, these prices may be subject to change. Obviously, telecommunications fees, service fees, they do change over time. So you may be watching this video 5 years from now, and this may be completely different. I'm just letting you know that as of December 17, 2023, this is what the product or the service plan prices are advertised as on the EVO-START LTE website, which happens to be EVO-START.ca. Now, if you want to know how much the hardware is, I'm just going to go over to my website here. I'll let you know what we sell it for. So our current price for the hardware is $289.99, again, subject to change, but that's essentially what the current price is for the hardware with a 36-month service plan included. What do you get with the service plan? Well, what you get is essentially all of your telematics controls, engine start, stop, lock, unlock, trunk release, all of that. You also get GPS tracking included with EVO-START LTE. And that's one of the big differences with EVO-START LTE plan or plans is that it includes the GPS tracking. It's not an additional charge. So you're going to get that right out of the box, which for security purposes, for tracking purposes is pretty cool because you don't have to pay extra for it, which is very interesting. And I applaud Fortin for providing that. Obviously, if you hooked up an EVO 1 or an EVO All and you had the security features activated, you would then basically have, security features that the EVO-START LTE app is going to report back. And then you're going to have your tracking features. So if your car was stolen, you theoretically could track it and attempt to get it back. You can see here, it's got alarm notifications, so alarm and usage notifications as well. And it tells you here it works with EVO All and EVO 1 platforms. So let's move over to the MyCar controls and let's take a look at the plans. So effectively what you get with this one, I'm just going to make the screen a little bit bigger so it's easier for you to read. And I will zoom in. So you can see essentially when you purchase the MYCAR2, the MC200-01, it says that you get 1 year service plan included, but essentially it's a limited lifetime service. So what that means is that for the life that you own the vehicle that the MyCAR2 is installed, you will have a lifetime service plan, meaning you don't have any subscription fees to pay. Now, if you remove the device from your vehicle and you put it into another vehicle, at some point there will be an upgrade fee or a service fee for doing that. So essentially the lifetime plan applies to the initial vehicle that the device is installed in. How they will be monitoring that will be VIN number, as well as at some point it will be monitoring the data bus of the vehicle. Currently, as of today's date, that is not the case. So if you had a MyCar device installed in your vehicle today with the lifetime plan, you removed it from the vehicle and you put it in another vehicle, it would still work. You wouldn't have to pay any fees. So that's the basic service plan it comes with, which essentially includes lock, unlock, trunk release, trunk close if you have power lift gate, start, stop, but no GPS tracking. If you want GPS tracking, you do have to sign up for the premium plan, And I just want to double check where they have this here. So obviously you can see here on their website, they give you the coverage. You can see it covers, or it works with a lot more remote starters than obviously EVO-START LTE does. So it's got a lot of backwards compatibility with older remote starts. Actually, what's cool, if you have a MYCAR1, they actually have an upgrade harness. If you're an Ontario or a Quebec user and you have a MYCAR2, a MyStart Plus, not a MYCAR2, too many MyCars. MyStart Plus, which was the prior system that gave you free service, there is an upgrade harness that you can purchase if you wanted to upgrade to the MyCar2. We have that harness on our website. You do have smartphone control. You have smartwatch integration. You've got Amazon, Alexa, Google Home, I believe Siri integration with MyCar2. So you can literally talk to your device and tell it to start your vehicle. There is a premium plan, which I gotta double check. Let me just look in the box here. So effectively, this is the installer's card. I obviously have all of this info on my website. MyCar2. So we can go. So effectively, you can see here that the premium plan is included at no additional cost. It's included with the MyCar2 hardware, and essentially shows everything here on the side that it comes with. It's all checked off. If I were to zoom in here, you can see that $99.95 USD one-time charge. Currently, you can upgrade within the app to the Premium Plus plan, which is going to unlock your GPS tracking. So if you needed GPS tracking, you would have to pay a $99.95 one-time lifetime coverage fee, and that would unlock the GPS tracking. So a little bit different than the way EVO-START LTE is doing it. If you look at the hardware price that we're currently selling the product at, we are at $299.95. That price includes the premium plan, but the Premium Plus plan, you must pay additional. So yes, it's a little bit more expensive than EVO-START LTE for essentially what are the same features, but you are unlocking much more remote start support. And of course, if you're a Canadian user, it will work in the USA and Canada. So that's pretty cool. Effectively, though, if you're just looking for smartphone control of your remote start, in my opinion, currently the MyCar2 wins out, because as a Canadian user at the same price as EVO-START LTE, you're getting Canada and US coverage. Now, you won't get GPS tracking at the $299.95, but you can add that for an extra $100. And honestly, North American coverage is worth that extra cost. So with that being said, we certainly have a lot more info on our website, lockdownsecurity.ca. I can show you actually quickly, grab it over here off camera. This here is effectively the MyCar2 hardware. You can see in the pictures on our website what it looks like, but this is what it physically looks like. Comes with the wire harness here that plugs into the system, and it also comes with a little pigtail harness here. So this is an upgrade harness to convert different protocols for different remote start units. You can see it's essentially got many different connectors on it. So that pretty much sums up the difference between EVO-START LTE and MyCar2. I hope this video wasn't too long. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I hope it answers some of the questions. My personal opinion right now, and this is my personal opinion, MyCar2 is the better option, just because it's got coverage of both Canada and the USA for the Canadian users. If you're a US user, you're going to have to go with EVO-START LTE if you're a 410 remote start user. So I know there's a lot of ins and outs. Feel free to contact us, sales@lockdownsecurity.ca, for more information. Call us 1-866-824-4118, or visit us on the web, Lockdown Security Canada or lockdownsecurity.ca. McIntosh.ca. This is our website where we sell everything that we talk about in these videos. And if you like this video, hit the like button. If you could, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It goes a long way to help us make more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching.